gonna try not to talk too loud. I always talk extremely loudly, and it's literally the middle of the night. I have not processed that I'm going to Asia in less than 1 week, and I haven't processed the fact that I'm going on another continent for an entire year, because I'm going to Japan and then to Taiwan and then to Korea. And why I'm so like excited and like have this strange feeling of like leaving Europe and leaving the Western world is because I've never been to the Eastern world like ever in my life. Like I lived in the United States last year, but except for that I just lived in Europe, and Europe is kind of the same across the board, and the US is very similar to Europe, although none of the parties want to agree on that. I realized that I have so many expectations on what's gonna go, or like not necessarily expectations, but like things that I know will shock me, but I don't know in which way they will shock me. So I'm gonna share them with you today, and then after I get to Asia, because I'm probably gonna vlog every single moment in like Japan and I don't know, I mean in Tokyo obviously, in Taipei, in Seoul, I'm gonna vlog everything. I'm gonna try to document as much as possible, and I want to see, I want to make a video exactly like this, like a 5-minute video talking about what expectations I didn't like, I don't know, what was wrong and what was right. And so a lot of people told me that in like, especially in Japan, people would like take pictures of you, or like when they see a white person, especially a blonde, they would take pictures of you on the street, or like they would treat you a little bit different, or like way more different, not in a wrong way, just in a strange way. So I'm expecting that to a certain extent, and plus I'm very not like, I'm expecting them to be very quiet, or like a very quiet like everything would be like a quiet environment, or like not necessarily quiet, but like very. I lived in Switzerland, and I feel like Japan and Switzerland are similar, although I've never been to Japan, so I'm gonna see if that's actually true, but I feel like they're similar in the way people interact with each other, because in both cultures the fact that you have to respect the person in front of you a lot, and you have to not like say something that they would not agree with, or like say something that you know would at least a little bit like make them uncomfortable. That's pretty much what Switzerland is. And I talked to some Japanese friends, and I feel like it's so similar in that aspect. So I feel like it's gonna be similar to Switzerland to some extent, but different in another way. I don't know how it would be different. I know in trains you cannot like talk. Like when you're on a train in Japan, you cannot talk. Now I don't know. I've never been on a metro station, like in the metro, or like in a train, and never talked like that. That's never happened. Like there's always like something to do, or like someone talking, or like I don't know, you find a stranger near you, sitting near you, and you wanna strike a conversation. I'm curious if that will happen. I think it won't, but I'm curious if it will. Also going to like organize kind of a camp, so I feel like I will interact. I mean, I will definitely interact with high schoolers, and I feel like I'm gonna see how they interact with each other, and I don't really have that many expectations on that. Okay, so a lot of people told me that Japanese people, or like East Asian people, usually are shy. Well, not obviously not like generalizing everyone, but like a lot of people are shy, and it's not like how we think of shyness. It's like a weird different way to think of shyness that I have no idea how to like, I don't know what, I have no idea how to define that, and I don't think I've truly understood it, because like I feel like their shyness is way different than our definition of shyness. Our definition of shyness is more like you kind of have social anxiety, or like you cannot like speak up for yourself, or like you're not confident enough to speak up for yourself. I feel like that's way more like not personal, but like way more like self-driven and self-centered. I feel like for them it's like more about the other person, or like not necessarily the other person, but like it's gonna be different. I'm sure that the definition of shyness is gonna be different, and I'm also sure that I'm gonna be very shocked by it, because I'm not extroverted, but I'm very talkative. So I feel like that's gonna be an interesting situation. I also heard that people don't really like filming people or like making videos of people is not really normal, and like you have to ask for permission all the time. Now I understand that if you're like white, they kind of like realize that that's in your culture, and that like taking videos and taking pictures of like strangers is probably in your culture, whatever, I don't know. Like they treat you a little bit differently, like they don't judge you as much. But I know Japanese people judge Japanese people a lot when they do certain things that are not like socially common, way more than I feel like Europeans do, or like that's how I expect it to go. So I don't know if I will be judged, but I will try to see if anyone around me is judged. I want to see how they interact with each other. I want to see how, like, actually I don't really know what the social common, like, I don't know, behaviors are. Like I have no idea. I literally have no idea. I know some things, I don't know anything else. Like I know Japan has like these restaurants where you can go and like you don't even have to talk to the server. Like you can just like order on a like tablet, and then the plate comes to you like under your table. You don't even see anyone. You have your own table and you go to a restaurant by yourself. I have personally never been to I've been only once to a restaurant by myself on my birthday because I wanted to spend my birthday alone. But like except for that was like a special case in my life. I've never been to a restaurant alone, and I've never eaten out fully alone. But I feel like that's in Eastern European culture more than it's anywhere else. But I'm very curious on how, like, I feel like I'm gonna spend a lot of time alone, obviously. I'm also gonna try to talk to a lot of people, and I want to see how those people interact, because I feel like, okay, so a lot of people told me that okay, I'm talking about Japan because I prepared the most about Japan because I'm staying for 1 month and I'm going like in 1 week, so I prepared a little bit, and I'm also organizing a camp, so that's but people told me that people would get scared of me. So like if I go on the street and ask them for directions, like 5 out of 10 people will probably get scared and like would be like like I don't know. I had a demonstration of like a Japanese guy. I asked him how like people would react if I talk to them on the street randomly, because you do that in Europe. Like if you're lost, you are gonna talk to a random person, you know, to ask them for directions. And I feel like that's kind of, I expect that to be normal in Japan too. I feel like it will be just a little stranger to ask. And okay, and the guy was like, okay, I'm gonna show you how the Japanese person would react in any case, like in any question you would ask them. Like there would be something like they would shake their heads and like kind of like bow somehow, and they will like mess up the words you're saying, because apparently they do speak English from what I understand. I don't know if they are fluent, but from what I understand, they're not fluent in like speaking. Like they cannot speak. They understand and they can write and read, but they can't speak because that's not what they're taught in school. I'm gonna see that. I'm gonna see if like they can have a conversation with me or not. I also wanted to go on some dates, so I have some expectations for that too. Like I literally told every single one of my Japanese friends that I want to go on at least one date in Japan, because I want to see how the dating life is, because I heard like 60% of people or like 30% of people in Japan never dated anyone, and like I feel like that's crazy, because in Europe everyone dates everyone, and like it's crazy to not have a relationship, and I feel like for them it's way different how they look at their relationship. So I'm expecting to see a difference. I don't know what kind of difference though. So I'm gonna go on a date, at least one, hopefully, and see how the dating culture is and how they like. Would I go to a restaurant? Would I go to a movie? What would we talk about? What would be the questions that they ask? Like I feel like I'm gonna learn so much from that date. I'm gonna do a story time about it, but I hope it's gonna happen. I hope, I'm manifesting it's gonna happen, because I know myself and I don't really like people romantically. If you want to watch videos on asexuality, you can watch them, because yeah, it's a very long story and complicated story anyway. And I made some videos on my experience with asexuality, but basically I barely have any attraction. So I very, very rarely go on dates. But right now I wanna try. I wanna see. It's like a social experiment, okay? It's a social experiment, and I'm gonna try to do that in Taipei and Seoul too, because like going on a date with one single person that you don't know, like kind of blind date, and like asking them about what they feel like, I don't know, getting to know them, I feel like you will learn so much about their culture more than you would do if you just go out with like a big group of people. Or maybe you would, but you'd learn different things. Asia is completely different than what I am used to, so I feel like I'm gonna learn things on like minute to minute basis if I go out with people. Anyway, those were my expectations. I'm curious what you guys think, so if you have any expectations about this or like want to come with me on this journey, please comment down below and subscribe. I'm gonna try to post a lot, and also follow me on my Instagram because I literally post stories and reels all day and try to post that because I'm trying to grow this little community of people who like to travel and people who like renting and people who are yappers and whatever. I'm trying to find my people on the internet because I love you guys so much. Anyway, hope you enjoyed. I'm gonna do a pack with me for Asia, in which I'm gonna talk probably more about everything and my experience and my thoughts and whatever. See you guys. Kisses, kisses.